What is up, all my dorks, nerds, geeks, and gamers? It's your host, Ghost here, and you're watching a brand new episode of Wet Ink. Today we're going to continue on with our coverage of, well, let me make sure this audio's on. Okay, we're good. We're going to continue on with our coverage of Batman X TMNT II, issues 5 and 6. The very last two issues of this whole series, and the very end of the storyline of the Batman X TMNT crossover so far. We haven't got a part 3 yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get one very soon here in the future. So continuing on with issue 5. We left off last week with Donatello actually taking the venom for himself, becoming Super Bane Donnie. And basically we start off here with that, if we remember that ninja at the very beginning of the story who whooped Donnie's butt, who sent him back to Batman to get stronger to beat him. We start this issue off with him basically threatening Donnie, saying, "You can't stop us, how is this possible?" And then the raged out Donnie coming through and just smashing through all these other foot soldiers here, including the one that whooped his butt the first time. So it's a very cool moment for Donnie to get that moment of recognition, at least in this 1 second before he loses himself. And we know that it's going to go down the path of Batman and Leonardo trying to stop him and turn him back into his old self because the rage that the venom is causing him to do more damage than good for the team. So yeah, like I said, we have him beat that guy. Here comes Leonardo and Batman to basically stop him. They get in a fight themselves. Telling him that he's not acting like himself, that he's acting like a fool. He's acting more like Bane than he should be. But then we cut back to Raphael and Robin, who are still in the sewers. And this time it's a very good moment because last week, remember, with issue 3, I believe it was, where Robin and Raphael had a full-on fist fight in the sewers with each other, getting on each other's nerves. Here we get the opposite, where they both understand they're very alike, and they decide they're going to work together, not for themselves, but for the respect of their fathers, Batman and Splinter respectively. So that's a very cool scene as well. I really like like I said, I really like those smaller moments with the side characters, especially Raphael and Robin, who are two of my favorite characters of the Batman and the TMNT lore. So it's very cool that they're definitely friends in this, and they're playing off each other really well. We then cut to April and Casey, who are opening up the portal to Batman's world to send Splinter through, because they're going to send Splinter to the Lazarus Pit to heal him. At this point, that is the only option after he was beat so badly into the ground from Bane that he really doesn't have very much life in him left at all. So Lazarus Pit is about the only option to bring Splinter back into this fight. At the same time, we still got Batman and Donnie fighting with Leonardo, and they're still trying to get through to him. And of course, Batman eventually does with this very nice speech. He reminds him of everything he's fighting for and who he's fighting for. And Donnie eventually does come around. After, of course, a little bit more rage. So yeah, he's still fighting them. He still doesn't want to give up. We then cut back to the Lazarus Pit, where Raphael and Robin are putting Splinter into the pit. And they know that there is a chance that Splinter could come out with a broken mind and be a bad guy, just like they're fighting with Donnie right now. We then cut back to Batman and Leonardo, who then use a chemical compound on Donnie to calm him down. Well, they tell Donnie to create the chemical compound to heal himself, and that's basically what he does. He focuses enough to create that chemical compound while he's in the toxin state to basically cure himself. We then cut back to Bane, who is now sitting at the top of the Eiffel Tower, or not the Eiffel Tower, but the Statue of Liberty with the mask on. And Baxter Stockman is basically holding a camera, and he's going to give his whole villain speech to the whole rest of the world. At the same time, we have Batman, Leonardo, and Donnie finally back at the sewer to meet with the rest of the team. At the same time, like I'm telling you, a lot of stuff happens at the same time in this issue all at once. We also have Splinter waking up from the Lazarus Pit and just going nuts on all the Lazarus Pit bat creatures that are all around. So yeah, he basically comes out just fine. And he basically says that his Zen and his meditation are the reason why he didn't lose his mind in the Lazarus Pit. And Batman commends him because that's something only true masters can accomplish. We then get the villain speech. Bane tells everyone, either you work for me or you're going to die, blah, blah, blah. He sends it to all the TV sets across New York City, telling everyone that the Statue of Liberty is going to be his base of operations, and that's just how it is. So Donnie, who is still affected by the toxin, still huge and raging. He ends up going back to the sewers, and Batgirl creates a cure for him using the compound that he made while he was still talking to Batman and Leonardo, and it works. It does cure him. He goes back to his normal state, and he's basically really whooped from after being in that state of toxin anyway. We then cut to Bebop and Rocksteady and everyone else who are preparing for this big battle, who are kind of scouting everything out because they know that something's going to happen. And of course the team doesn't know who else to turn to for help, so Batman has an idea. He says, we're going to go to Rikers Island, but I'm going to need Shredder's armor. So he takes Shredder's armor and he takes it to Shredder, and he says, you know what, you're the true leader of the clan, we can't do this alone, we're going to need your help, Shredder. And Shredder says, I was wondering when you would come for me, talking to Batman. Very chilling ending. I love this ending. It's so cool to see Batman. I love it when Batman not only respects his villains, but when he realizes that he can't beat someone on his own, and that he may need a villain's help to do this. And for that villain to be Shredder, the leader of the Foot Clan, it makes 100% sense why Shredder will want this, because no one can run the Foot Clan like he can, and he hates Bane with a passion, and the way he runs the Foot Clan, so he's ready himself to take Bane out. And with Batman's help, and the Ninja Turtles' help, and Splinter's help, and all the side characters of Batman's world, Batgirl, Nightwing, Robin, all these other characters, I think they have a chance to fight Bane, Bebop, Rocksteady, and Baxter Stockman, and stop this whole mess from happening. So that's where we end off at issue 5 here, with the return of Shredder, with not only the return of Shredder, but Batman asking for Shredder's help to come into this. Very awesome, and also the return of Splinter being healed through the Lazarus Pit, something I never saw coming, but also another really cool idea for this crossover to experience. So very, very good. I really enjoyed this one. I'm going to give this one a 10 out of 10. Very strong start to the ending of this series. But we're going to move on to issue 6 here. I hope that the momentum can continue, and it continue to be a very solid series moving forward. So now on to issue 6. We start off with, of course, Bane sitting on his throne at the top of the Statue of Liberty. Baxter Stockman basically warning him that someone's coming, and here we go. We got the Turtles and all the Bat family sitting in the Turtle blimp, which is something I never thought I'd see in the comic books again, but I'm very happy that it's here. They fly right up into the Statue of Liberty. And of course they have all their sprays and their cures for the toxin formula. So these juiced up Venom Foot Soldier Clan people aren't no problem for the Turtles. They're just flying by and curing everybody of their toxin problems. We then cut back to Bane and Baxter Stockman. He's basically like, okay, I need to stop this or whatever. And at that time, Batman, Splinter, and Shredder show up from the shadows and jump Bane. And what a great start to this finale here. Because it comes out of nowhere. You think it's just going to be Batman dropping from the darkness, but then you got Splinter and Shredder as well, and it's not only just the actual drop from the darkness, it's the line that Batman uses as well with Shredder's response. Here, actually, I got to read it to you just because it's so good. Bane says, I know you believe yourself on the edge of victory, but once your surrogates lie dead in the mud, I will conquer the city you sent to me and lead my army to Gotham, and you cannot stop this you cannot stop this inevitably, not alone. And Batman says, you're forgetting something, Bane. It's not your army. And Shredder says, it's mine. And amazing scene, amazing moment. They drop down, they start fighting. We also have Karai, who is now turning against the Foot Clan and Bane, and working with her father to fight Bane. So now we have this faction of foot soldiers also pulling away and fighting Bane. So yeah, things are looking bad for Bane all around. So yeah, the team are basically still fighting. We also get this really cool sideways shot. I love it when comics do this, and they do the long way shot of all the action going on with the side characters, such as Nightwing, Batgirl, and some of the other Bat family, stuff going on there. And then we also, it's just basically, the rest of this issue is just action scenes, stuff going down. We get the fight between the three mains, and then Bane still going on strong. And a very cool scene with Splinter and Shredder, who are actually working together to fight Bane, because they haven't worked together since they were martial arts students back in the day before they became Splinter and Shredder. So it's a very cool callback to that moment for these two characters as they're fighting Bane, to have that common threat. And also to see Karai and Batgirl fighting together as well. Another team up I never thought I wanted to see, but once you see it happen, it's something that you just want more of once it happens. So I just hope they continue on with these Batman X TMNT stories. So Bane gets beat down pretty bad, which we all saw coming. Bebop and Rocksteady Bane's basically begging them for help, and they're like, there's really nothing we can do, boss. Like, you're the strongest of all of us. If you can't beat him, then there's nothing we can do. And at that time, that's when Shredder steps in. He says, really, you're going to work for this idiot, you fools? And then basically Bebop and Rocksteady say, no, we don't work for you, Shredder. We're going to stick with Bane. So Shredder's going to have to fight them too. So then we have this big all-out battle with all the Turtles, all the Batman family, and Bane, and Bebop and Rocksteady, those three versus everybody. And it's just a full-on fight. Everybody's going nuts, back and forth. At the same time, Donatello has made these guns that shoot the cure into almost like a needler from Halo. So he's shooting this cures into Bane over and over and over and over and over again. And eventually it does work, and Bane does hit the ground, and he does lose. And that's when Bebop and Rocksteady give up at that point, when their leader hits the ground. And then at that point I'm figuring, okay, well now Shredder's out of jail. He's going to want to cause more trouble, leading to a third storyline. But no, Shredder says, okay, you can take me back now, but I want one thing. I want a rematch with Batman, and that's it. If I can get a rematch with Batman, then you can put me back in jail, and I'll be happy, and I'll serve my time as needed. And so that's basically what Batman does. He gives him his rematch he wanted. He puts him back into his jail cell, and that ties up that loose end there. He goes back to his world with all his people, and the TMNT people stay in their world with all their people and villains, and everything is back to normal. And at that point, that's when Batman basically tells Donatello that you had to be the character that had to go through this, not because you're an idiot, not because you screwed up, but because you're the smartest of all of us, that you would make the most mistakes out of any of the Turtle characters. You would make the most mistakes, but would come to the right conclusion in the end. And Batman felt really strongly in that in Donatello, and he lets Donatello know by the end of this, which is a very touching moment, because it's something that Donnie needed. Like I said, they've really made him the butt of the jokes of this whole series here. So I'm really glad he got that really strong moment with Batman in the end. So yeah, that's where it ends, and it says the end for now, with Batman leaving a training log of what the Robins normally do for the Turtles, so that way they can train like Robin would, and they're very happy to do so as well. It's a very cool moment. But yeah, they all go back their separate ways, and that is the end of the second Batman X TMNT crossover here. But yeah, very strong, solid ending. I love the way this ended. I love all the action. But I gotta tell you, there was action in every single issue of this whole storyline. And it wasn't just small action, there was big action, a lot going on, a lot of cool things. So I'm very happy I picked this up and bought it and gave it a chance. So yeah, I'll give issue 6 another 10 out of 10. I say these two issues here are both perfect issues. I love the storyline, I love the way the characters interacted with each other, and I love the crossover aspect of it all. And I'm really looking forward to a Batman X TMNT III, if they ever want to make that or do that storyline. Let me know down below what you guys thought of the Batman X TMNT II storyline. Did you guys enjoy it as much as the first one or not? Let me know what you would like to see from a Batman X TMNT III storyline as well. Make sure you like, subscribe, or share, and as always guys, keep it right here on Dorks Den. I've been your host, Ghost. Adios.